I talk to, 20, 50, 100 employers a week, and I hear the same thing. It's like, I'm not interviewing them, they're interviewing me. So we're selling them the job, telling them how, why they need to work here, and promising what we'll do for them, and giving hiring bonuses that were absolutely unheard of 5 years ago. Hiring bonuses just to start to work at flipping burgers or cleaning hotel rooms or whatever. People just expect it in this, labor shortage. So, being a great place to work is really the start, because if you were the greatest recruiter and you could get applications every day and you could get people in there, you'd have a hole in the bottom of your net if you're not a great place to work, because as fast as you find them, they're going to leave. So it really does start with being a great place to work. And Matt, most employers would say, well, hey, I am a great place to work. I'm a whole lot better than back when I was young coming into the workplace, my jobs. I remember where the manager told me to keep my nose to the grindstone, my head down, and just do what he said. And someday all this and more would be mine. And I did, and it is. And yet that's not the game I'm playing. I'm playing a game where I'm convincing people to please take this job. So here's the question, the big question that anyone who is called boss listening to this podcast needs to answer. Okay, we've all heard about the 30-second elevator pitch, right? What we say to people about our companies, or about ourselves, to sell ourselves. Do you have the same 30-second elevator speech, that pitch, that can tell a prospective employee why they should work for you? What makes you different than anybody else who is hiring the same person you want to hire? So in other words, think of your competitors out there. And I'm not talking about competitors in the marketplace for business. Talk about competitors when it comes to, we're competing for employees. What can you say about your coming to work for you that they can't say about working for them? And here's the caveat: no generalities. You can't say, well, we treat people like family, or we're a very special place to work. We care about our people. That's all mumbo jumbo crap. It doesn't play. People want to know specifically, why should I work here? Now you might say, well, we pay twice as much, 10 times as much as our competitor. There you go. You can do that. And that might help you get some people in the door. Okay, but it goes a lot deeper than that, right? So you might say, well, I tell you what, we close on Fridays and everybody goes outside and has a barbecue, and I bring all the food and meat, and we play volleyball all day. I don't know, I'm being facetious here, but you get the drift. You've got to identify your employment brand, and you've got to be able to speak that very short, very succinctly, because the goal is you're not the only one that's saying it. That the goal is that you've got your employees are saying it to their friends. That's a great source for recruitment. That your vendors are saying, oh my God, you got to work down at Joe's, man. That is an unbelievable place. Your vendors have to spread the message. They have to evangelize for you. Your customers evangelize for you. Everyone in the community knows who you are and what you do and why they should come and work for you. So it starts with that employment brand. It starts with being a great place to work. And there are a number of factors that I pointed out in my 2015 book, On Fire Work, that today's employees look at it as a must-have in their workplace culture.
Yeah, let's jump into that in a second. I have a follow-up question here for you.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like you're suggesting that we need to be as focused on kind of selling our workplace as we do selling our product or service. Companies spend eons of time trying to really hone in on what is the brand messaging, what's the value proposition, how are we going to sell our product or service. And what I'm hearing you say is, well, we need to be doing that. We need to sell our culture. We need to sell our workplace with that same level of effort if we want to be able to attract and retain good employees, right?
Well, not if you're fully staffed. I mean, if you're sitting there going, geez, we've got so many employees, we don't know what to do with all these applications that just keep coming in with these, amazing people. Well, then no. But I would highly doubt that we have listeners that say, yeah, I'm in that bracket. I don't know too many people that are. So yeah, very real world thing. You said you have to work as hard. I'll raise you. You have to work harder. You have to work harder on your employment branding more than you do on your consumer or your product brand. You do. You have to work and say, I need to make this a great place to work. Because if you make it a great place to work, if you get the right people there, then the marketing, the customers, they come. I mean, we're not stupid. We know where to go. We know where we're going to get the best products at the best price through the best service. All of that matters, right? We'll jump over 3 stores where we may have gotten a better price to go to the one where we know that somebody there is going to care about us and help us solve our problems. We desperately need those people.
All right. So how do we do it? So what are the key things we really need to be focused in on if we want to create a great place to work?
All right. So the book On Fire at Work talked about 7 workplace cultural pillars, things that every employee in today's world, prospective employee, would wants out of a job. Now, we've already talked about compensation. Compensation is important, but understand compensation is really just this for that. It's quid pro quo. What do you want me to do, and how much are you going to pay me to do it, right? So there's this balance sheet that all of us have inside our head, right? What do they want us to do, and how much are we going to get for it?
Right.
As long as we feel like we're being paid fairly, which is to say, at the same rate, or maybe even just a tad higher, very competitive with what we could get doing a similar job for a competitor. You know, we're not sitting here going, well, if I was in the NFL and MVP quarterback, here's what I would. No. What is your talent level? What are you doing? And where could you go when you are in that ballpark? Compensation gets checked off the list. So we look and go, okay, compensation, and there's a lot more to that, but let's just say as long as you're paying a competitive wage, people look to other things like, am I in alignment with you as a company? Which means all those fancy words that you have on your website that you share maybe with prospective customers about your values and who you are, is that really what you're about? And as a prospective employee, do they look at that and go, you know, what you're looking for, what you stand for is what I stand for. So companies that go, look, we live our values. REI is one of my favorite companies to talk about. It's a co-op, huge recreational sporting goods store started by 9 guys who said, look, we want to hire people who really enjoy being outdoors and doing these sports. That's why when you go to an REI, if you want to get into kayaking, the person who sells you that kayak kayaks, right? If you want a mountain bike, that person knows about mountain biking. They know what they're selling because they do it. Well, we all know that the busiest day in all of retailing is Black Friday, right? I mean, it's more stores are opening earlier and earlier, so you get that big piece of the Christmas shopping puzzle. Here's what REI does. They close on Good Friday. They close and tell their employees, go outside and enjoy the sport that you're passionate about. What are they saying? We are not just making money, we're making meaning. We want our people to love working here. They give themselves a differentiation. So we got compensation and alignment, which is aligning people to your core values, what you really do, what you stand for. You're not making just money, you're making meaning. You're part of the community and people know it. Then we move on and we go, well, what else? What about atmosphere? Right? Are you protecting me as an employee? Are you making sure I'm safe, like through COVID and all of that? Are you making sure I have steel-toed boots if I need it? You know, are you making sure I have the equipment that I need, the resources I need to do my job? But more importantly, is there a modicum of fun working here? Whether that's fun while I'm at work, or at least there's some organized activities. I've talked to guys who work in coal mines in West Virginia, and you know what they say? As long as I can go out with my buddies at the end of the day and have a beer, as long as we can get together every once in a while and celebrate, then you know what? I'm not leaving. What's the atmosphere like? Do you just do a once a year barbecue? Some companies have a continual focus on, let's keep people. We're going to have a fantasy football league. We're going to have a bowling league. You know, there's going to be a gardening club for people who want to garden, et cetera. We could go on and on, but atmosphere is important. Then we look at this thing called growth. Everybody listening today wants to grow their business. Every person who works for you wants to grow in their career. Then we move. So do you have a learning agenda for them? Even if it's not learning about how to do do business with your company, are you connecting the dots so that while they work for you, they're learning some things that will help them regardless of what career or what their long-term goals are. We look at autonomy. Autonomy says, I don't want a finger in my face constantly telling me what to do. A lot of people listening to this broadcast own their own business. Why? It's the American dream. Because of the money? No, Matt, it's because they want to call the shots.
Right.
People want some autonomy. They want some control over what they do. Yes, they want clear guidelines, but they want instruction. Numbers, and these aren't in any particular order, by the way. Communication. How does communication flow in your organization from the top to the bottom? From what happens to the CEO all the way down to the person who's, delivering the widget? How fast does communication run? What do these people get to know? What should they know? And how fast does solid information travel? But then how about from the bottom to the top? Are we talking to our people and asking? We survey all our customers. We want to know what our customers think. We want reviews. Are we surveying the people who are most important to us? What do you like about working here? What don't you like about working here? Hey, if you were me and you could make this a better workplace, what would you do? So you got to look at that communication. And then finally, acknowledgement. Millennials are known for being the trophy generation, but the reality is we all want our trophies. We want a pat on the back when we do a good job. We want people to praise us or to acknowledge us or to say, man, I like working for you, or man, I like what you do for the community, or man, you guys, nobody cranks out widgets like you do. We want that. And every employee that works for us wants to know how they're doing, and they don't want to wait for a 90-day or 180-day performance evaluation. In today's world, we're dealing with a lot of employees who grew up playing video games where they've got feedback every 3 to 5 seconds. Are we sitting there helping people know what they're doing well and helping them with skills that they need to learn and acquire and get better? So those are the 7 fundamental things. And if you focus on that, you realize you don't have to be Google and give 3 p.m. massages and have company cafeterias where you serve free food and a petting zoo out back. So the parents who bring their kids to work have some place to entertain their kids. You don't have to be Google. You just have to be the best place to work in your community for anybody who wants to do the kind of job that you're looking for. And if you focus on that, what are we doing across these 7 cultural pillars? You will become a better place to work, and you'll be able to retain people and attract people. That's not the only thing though, Matt. That's half the battle.